What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof. It is finally Ryder Cup week, the week we have long awaited. And we got a lot to cover this week, so let's get right into it. Before we do so, we got Erik, Joey, and myself coming to you guys live tonight. Mikey is hung up with a little coaching, got to doing a little assistant work with the D3 golf team out in Michigan, and I think they're in their first, maybe second tournament of the year right now. So he's got some bigger fish to fry, and we'll be hearing from him later this week. But Joey, Erik, what are you guys sipping on? Where are you calling in from?
New Hampshire boys, same old Maker's Mark tonight. Forgot to grab something from the fridge as always, but I can't get the cap off. But same shit, different day. Erik, what about you, my man?
I got a little homemade canned cocktail. I've been doing this lately on the go. Grab a little club soda from the fridge, drink a quarter of it, and put some tequila in it. So
we got a problem. I can't get this.
Little homemade canned cocktail. I like that. It's like reminds me of the Always Sunny episode where they would dump out the Diet Coke and fill it with box wine.
There we go. I must have got the inspiration from that.
Had to have.
Matt, what do you got over
There we go. Joey got the cap off. Have a swig. Let's get this Ryder Cup week started correctly for the United States
Joe,
of
you
America.
going straight out of the bottle?
No, but I got Maker's Mark on my blanket that I need to sleep with tonight.
That'll put you right to sleep. Just the smell of whiskey.
Oh, there you go. Straight out of the bottle.
Attaboy. All right. Cheers. And from Connecticut, per usual, and I got a little Oktoberfest. It's fall. I'm not shying away from it. It's after Labor Day. We're diving it all the way in. Oktoberfest, pumpkin beers, all of it.
I want to be drinking the Oktoberfest, but it's still fucking 90 degrees here, so
I
can't do it yet. It's more so tequila soda weather. So
adapt. Survive in advance. All right, let's get into the Ryder Cup. I think the best way to lay this out is to go backwards, right? Let's talk the most recent ones. They'll recap the last 3 or 4 or so. U.S. not been great. It's been a little ugly. Had one good one at 16 at Hazeltine. Obviously that's pretty well remembered with Reed and Rory and all the theatrics that came with that Sunday singles match. But what are your guys' thoughts on the recent Ryder Cups? I mean, awesome venues between Le Golf National, Hazeltine, Glen Eagles, then Medina, like all pretty, especially on the U.S. side, some pretty elite golf courses. But what are your guys' recent thoughts?
I mean, for me, the ones I remember. Who's going, Erik? Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. For a little side note in right off the bat. I think the first time I ever had a drink with Matt Fontaine was watching the 2014 Ryder Cup.
I believe so, on producer Paul's couch.
Yep.
At about 8:30 on a Saturday.
Yep. Brian Previtt was yelling at the TV.
Oh, yeah, as he does.
Was that when he was yelling at Sergio sucks?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And Bubba Watson.
Oh, God.
That was when the DJ missed it because he was at rehab. Those are the biggest things I remember about Glen Eagles, other than the fact that the U.S. lost. Hazeltine probably stands out to me the most of the last 4, and I think that's probably because it's the one that the U.S. won. Like you said, it was madness, especially on Sunday. Patrick Reed and Rory going back and forth. There were just some pretty electric moments in that Hazeltine Ryder Cup. A lot of them that circled right around Patrick Reed. It'll be weird kind of not having him this week, but ultimately I think it's a good thing, just given everything that he's been involved with for the last 18 months.
Yeah, like you said, Patrick Reed brought quite a bit to that 16 team, but at 18, he didn't really bring a whole lot of positives by any means.
Right.
And it's not been getting much better in his house of, I don't know. He's always involved in nonsense, it seems like, lately. I mean, he can still play some damn good golf, but his health's a little in question, and like I said, I think ultimately it's the right decision for him not to be there this week. Joey, what do you got for thoughts on Medina?
I mean, obviously with me, I don't have as much of a golf history in my past as you guys do. So the ones I remember the most are, I mean, obviously the one at Hazeltine, it was just fucking electric, man. I mean, you go back and just continue to watch those matches between Rory and Patrick. But
Yeah.
Inlay Golf National, I just remember watching it, but we got our asses handed to, I feel like. And, it's hopefully this year it's a new corner. We take it back, and I'm excited to hopefully get to watch some, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean,
one thing that's go ahead, Matt.
the one thing I was gonna add to like the France thing is like now like we got our ass kicked, but like some of the interesting things I see like looking back to that, like Francesco Molinari got 5 points that week. He's not even
Yeah.
on the team this year. Like it's crazy how like it just we got like I said, we got our asses kicked, but like it's just like looking back at the team that kicked our ass like that, it's like like doesn't add up at all. Because our team, we have 6 rookies this year, and I'm sure we'll get into that later on. But it was time like that like seemed to be kind of the nail in the coffin of like, all right, we got to get the new like we got to rotate some people here, like new generation. Like me, I'm like the biggest Tiger fan in the world, but like he went 0 whatever in the Ryder Cup. Granted, he was just coming off playing a shit ton of golf in a row and winning the Tour Championship when they went over there, but he struggled. Phil struggled. Like Phil conceded his match on the tee box and singles. I forget what hole it was, but like he didn't even try to like he didn't get up to the green.
It was like 15 or
Like it was like
16.
like things of that. Just like you know what, and like DJ's been there for so long, but he never really takes lead because those other guys have been there, and it just seems like we got guys, we got so much young talent and like depth on the U.S. side. It's like the way that went down is like I think it's time we got to get some fresh blood in here. We got to kind of reset the system. I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, I don't know. Erik, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say when you were mentioning that team that freaking waxed the U.S. and France, a lot of it comes down to the golf course. I think specifically that year, and I just wanted to note I heard an interesting kind of just comment about golf course selection, and in Europe they choose European tour stops, places that aren't as well known. But their team knows it. Their team plays it all the time. Versus on the U.S. side, we choose major championship venues that the European team has played just as much as our team. So it was an interesting note that I heard that made me think, and it's true.
Yeah, I mean, and the course, like outside of just the way we pick the course, the way they set the course up too, right? Like the home team gets some say in that, which I don't know how much longer they'll be able to do that, just because if they all of a sudden turn into like this, like for lack of a better phrase, like a pissing match from captaincy, like from home to home, it's like Lake Off National, like short, windy, smallest fairways in the world, rough, brutal, like obviously favors European team. US is just we're bomb and gouge, right? Like that's just kind of the overall theme. I mean, granted, there's a player that's the exception on both sides, but and then we go to Whistling, right? Bomb and gouge, Bomber's Paradise, long. They're gonna cut the rough down, like put the pins towards the middle of the greens, all this different stuff, right? Like what they did at Hazeltine. And I feel like as much as that just, they get to do it when we're there, we get to do it when we're here, all those kind of things that play a role. It's like at the same time, like, do you really want that? Where it's like the home field advantage is that drastic every year. And like to your point, the other things, right, of like the types of venues we pick being like I said, it's major championship. So in competitive golf rounds at Whistling Straits, like Rory has seen it just as much as Jordan Spieth has, right? Like anybody who played in the 2015 PGA, that's the last time PGA Tour or European anybody, right, played professional golf there. Where if they picked somewhere, I don't know, like there's plenty of good enough courses on the PGA Tour circuit that could host a Ryder Cup based on just like the difficulty of the golf course, right? It's just it would go a long way in developing a team, being able to have a little more depth and consistency in your team if it's a place people have seen and are comfortable with. Like I don't know, there's just so much to break down with the golf course, both on setup, the ones that they pick, and like the conditions, all those different things that fit either side of the thing. It's going to be a hot button item this week. I mean, you're going to hear about the golf course and the setup probably every day until Friday morning, and even probably throughout the weekend too, right?
Did you see the video? I think it was on Twitter today. You know, typically like U.S. Open week, you get these videos of people dropping golf balls in the rough and they disappear. Did you see the video that was on Twitter today? Guy drops it. He's like, look at this rough out here at Whistling, drops it, and there's no fucking rough out there.
If anything, it heated up a little bit. Yeah. So then that's just like and I think that's just like kind of the point is like, if you're gonna make it that extreme, where whichever side you're on, right? Like I mean, let's start that rule next year or next Ryder Cup, right? Let's not do it yet. Let's take advantage of the home field here and get a win. But like, I feel like if they're just gonna go that extreme on either side, us included on the U.S. side, but like I feel like it takes a little bit away from it and makes it turn into like potential blowouts versus it coming down to the last match, right? Like, I think if you go back and listen to our Solheim Cup stuff, like we talked about how the U.S. didn't really set that course up too crazy to favor the U.S. They kind of neutralized some of their top players with the Cordas and Lexi and everything like that. But it was 15-13. They kept it relatively neutral where it didn't favor a certain type of golf. And it's like at some point, do you leave it more neutral and just let the best play win, or do you put it so far favored on one side or the other that like certain players can kind of bring their B game and still get 3 or 4 points just because the golf course fits them perfectly and it's just more comfortable, whatever. I think there's something there that it'll be interesting to see. Again, it all depends on how it plays out this week, I think. But I know it was a big talk from 2018. So if they do it a couple years in a row, I feel like they're going to have to reassess that rule and figure out how to kind of settle it down a little. I don't know. They're going to have to come in and just have third party PGA or somebody do it. I don't know. Be interesting. But all right. I think outside of the golf course, though, the next biggest storyline, unfortunately for the United States, is obviously Brooks, Bryson, and the related drama that goes with those two characters. So, Joey, what is your thoughts on the comments Brooks made last week? Azinger's responding comments and just the overall vibe around. We'll start with Brooks. We'll do Brooks first. And then
I mean, obviously we saw what Brooks had said, and it's definitely not something that you want to hear from one of the better players on Team USA. And if that's the case, it's like, if you don't really want to be there, dude, then give up your spot for somebody who does, just so, if anything, it's going to help the locker room too, I think, just like maybe loosen it up just so that it doesn't feel like there's that tension or anything. But I had briefly on live from the Ryder, and, Stricker was in the, not Stricker? Yeah. He was, they're in the press conference and everything, and he was like, no, like, I've talked to Brooks, like, he's in it, he wants to be here, this and that. So I mean, it was kind of reassuring, but hey, you gotta wonder with Brooks and I mean, it's not like they're practicing. I don't know, it's just so weird. You got to be wondering what's really going on and everything as they lead up to it. And I mean, some of the comments that Brooks said, though, it's like they're true. It's like they do only play in this team event once a year, and you're not guaranteed to make it. It's just a totally different mindset 1 year out of, or 1 week out of however many they play. So,
right.
It's I mean, obviously it's the same thing that the other team has to adapt to as well. But for whatever reason, Team Europe seems to adapt to it a lot better than we do lately. So we'll see what happens. I wish it'd be like it was like a year-long Ryder Cup. Like it's just one team, not year-long, but like they had like 4 different events as well.
Yeah.
Just to see more team golf with like the professionals. Like, it's so fun to watch that. I'd love to see it more and more, but we just don't get it. It's the same thing with just match play in general. We always like to see it, but like team golf is very fun to watch. And like even when you're watching college golf, like for me, it's amazing to watch those kids, but you're like, nah, I want to watch the players that I know. So I feel like having something, and I know that's probably never going to happen, but it'd be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very curious to see what Team USA brings to the table. Just kind of going back to the course layout and everything. I mean, I don't think it fits. Like you're saying, like Team Europe would try to pick like a European Tour venue. It's like this venue is very similar to a European Tour venue, and I feel like it suits their game better than it does ours. So, I don't have a great feeling about it this year.
I mean,
I
I
love our
think,
team, but, like, looking at Team Europe, I mean, they're fucking stacked, dude.
yeah, no, yeah, there. I mean, as always, I think all these kind of hypotheticals and shit you can talk yourself into either way on each side of the story. At the end of the day, like it all depends. Like you need your top four, right? You need at least three of those top four guys, just like out of just pure talent wise,
Mhm,
to kind of go out
mhm.
there and execute and like get 3.5, 4 points, like play well. And you just need a couple kind of sleepers to come out of nowhere. I mean, you look at the Solheim Cup, right? Like
Yeah,
Leona Maguire, nobody knew who she was, and she won 4.5 points. You know, like so you need one of those, and you need your top dogs to like play like top dogs. And I think
yeah,
at the end of the day, you can talk all this course setup and whatever else, but like at the end of the day, they got to play well.
yeah,
I mean, there's all these hypotheticals you can always talk about, and that's like what makes
yeah,
sports. But I think at the end of the day, just somebody's got to go out there and execute, and whoever makes the most putts, I think will probably do all right. You know, it's just one of those
exactly.
things, and Europe's just always had the upper hand in that. It seems like in recent memory, but yeah, just to kind of close loop on the Brooks thing, like his comments, I think they're like factual, right? They're fair, like the way that like it's totally different. But I think in the same vein, like yeah, it's once every 2 years and it's for 1 week. Like, can't you just like buy in for a week? Like, we're not asking you to
No,
uproot your life,
yeah,
like just,
exactly, that's the other part.
just like for 1 week, just like kind of suck it up and you know change
Do
your
it.
approach, whatever. And again, that might have been taken out of context, right? That could have just
And
been
I
his
think it
snippet.
was.
And because like somebody could have been like, "Hey, why do you think you've struggled lately?" And then that he says that, and they take that answer, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and see the full kind of interview to, before we kind of go down his throat like Zinger did. But I think I don't know. Brooks also gives off the very like I'm stubborn, I don't care, I do what I want vibe. So I feel like
yeah,
that's the tone you automatically read that in, and then it comes off of like, dude, all right, like just buy in for a week. Like we're not asking you
literally.
to change your life. Like you're supposed to be this big, and then that's why Zinger's like, if you don't want to be there, then like because there's a lot of people that do, so like get the
Yeah,
fuck out. So there's obviously both sides to every story, but my immediate reaction was like, Jesus, we don't need this. Like we
no,
already got enough
exactly.
issues with him and Bryson, and I don't know, but Erik, you got any more thoughts on Brooks? You want to jump into the Bryson train?
I mean, yeah, nothing too much more than what you guys said. I'm right on board with everything that you said. On Bryson's side of things, I don't know. I feel like if Brooks were to wake up tomorrow and say, Bryson, are we good? That would make Bryson the happiest person in the world. I
Yeah,
think he just wants it to be done.
Yeah.
I think Bryson has no problem buying into the Ryder Cup and stuff like that. Yeah, he's fucking doing the long drive competition the day after the Ryder Cup, but I think for the most part, he's someone that can buy into the team atmosphere and wants to be part of the team atmosphere. And the banter between him and Brooks on his side of things to me seems more playful and for show rather than on Brooks' side of things. It seems more serious.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I listened to Stricker's press conference today too, Joey, and like you said, it was reassuring to hear him say it's going to be a non-issue, but who knows if that's just
yeah.
him saying it to
Yeah.
answer the reporter's question or what.
Yeah. Yeah, like is it a non-issue? You're just gonna separate them the whole week, or is it a non-issue? They had a conversation and they're fine.
Right.
Like that's two very different non-issues. Like
Right.
when
Exactly.
it comes
That's
to
a
the
good point.
locker room and things like that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think Bryson would love to just be like, "Can we just play practice round together tomorrow so everybody shuts the fuck up?" Like I want to go back
Yeah.
to like being able to play golf and not have to worry about people yelling shit at me all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's always something. There's always some smart ass in the crowd, but like it's overwhelming now. I think for him, he's
Yeah.
just like, get me the fuck out of this. But
And I feel like those two could, like, if they were friends, I feel like they'd be a good pair together. You
mhm.
know, I do. I mean, granted, they're both bombers, right? But I don't know. I feel like they could feed off of each other.
I like they very well kind of balance each other out, right? Like Brooks is kind of like low and slow, kind of just kind of in his mind, he's just laser focused.
Yeah,
Bryson's a little more fiery, but like you kind of bring both of them to like the middle of that, kind of right where you want to be. And like you said, they both hit it far. Like Bryson or Brooks can like grind out and like, get stuff out of weird places, get shit up and down, whatever. Bryson can get the putter going pretty well too. Like they definitely would like match up pretty well, I feel like, but I don't know if we're going to be that lucky to see that. That'd be something.
I
But
feel like with Bryson, the World Long Drive comp, I feel like that's kind of just fueling him even more. Like I don't really see it as a bad thing as much as maybe other people do. Like,
I think it's only a bad thing if he like does something stupid in training for it, like hurts himself or like goes so far down the speed thing he hasn't even worked on like his golf game, like
Yeah.
the holistic golf game. He's just been blasting drivers for the last 10 days. But like, yeah, as long as he's being smart about it, like just more time for him in the gym, I don't think hurts as long as he's just
yeah.
not being an idiot about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see though. If he loses his first match, it's all everybody's gonna talk about.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's very true. That is very, very true.
for his own sake, I hope he plays like halfway decent in his first match and it doesn't become like the story of the weekend. But you never
Probably will be.
Yeah. If I was a betting man, I'd say it would be. But outside of that kind of the more annoyance part of the US team, there is some exciting stuff with 6 rookies on the team this year. Certainly not the case on the Euro side, kind of as expected. They went to their kind of old faithfuls, we'll call it. And they're like, I think I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the average age is drastically younger on the US side versus the Euro side, which is like new for the US side. I think it's always kind of been the US and the Euros both stick to the vets and say how much experience matters and all that stuff. But eventually they're just, times change, right? And you got to go to the next generation. I'm excited to see how the rookies do. I mean, Erik, I don't know what your thoughts are on the rookies this week. Some of them are rookies only by Ryder Cup, have played in President's Cup. So there's a little bit of different stuff. And a few of them are pretty well established winners on the tour too. So,
Yeah, I was very happy with the picks when they came out. I think if you had asked me to make the picks, my picks might have been the same, if not maybe one player different. But specifically, I was really happy to see Scotty Scheffler on the team. I'm a big Scotty Scheffler fan, even though he hasn't won on tour. I'm glad he got the pick for the team still. He's, fresh out of college, played a national championship match play 3 years ago, has played well in the match play tournament on tour. So he's no stranger to match play. Obviously, everyone will say the first tee of the Ryder Cup is the most nervous they've ever been on a golf course. So it'll be interesting to see 6 rookies going through that. But no, I'm on board with the youth movement of the U.S. team. I think question it was. Yeah, and I think the U.S. team is on average 5 years younger than the European team this year.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's exciting. And you understand why Europe goes with the experience, especially on the
When
road.
it works.
It'll be interesting to see their experienced guys playing such a big golf course.
Yeah, I think just to like hone in on Scotty Scheffler too, like, golf course fits him, right? Match play experience, right? And it's like one of those things that like he's so young and like so well-rounded golf game. He's going to be around for quite a while. Like that's like an investment in the future almost, it feels like, where you get to have him his first Ryder Cup be on home soil around the group that they have together this year versus his first one being in 2024 in Rome. And like now, like, like it just doubles how difficult that's going to be being in foreign land, right? Like let him kind of dip his toe in the water here. I think if he gets 2.5 points, 2 points, like that's a successful captain's pick.
Yeah.
I think last year, like we like historically we're like 2-9 or something. Our captain's picks last year, like not good at all. So if he doesn't have to, blow the doors down and be a world shocker, but like if he goes out, plays solid, gets, they put him with the right guy, right pairing, whether it's, I don't know, a DJ, I don't know. We'll get into pairings in a little bit, but I think you get him out there, get him, with somebody who's comfortable. His game just fits so well. I think he's going to play super solid. If he's able to get 2 points, that's a good pick just because like the future benefits as well as, he fit everything this week too. And he earned his spot this year, I think.
Yeah, what I was going to say is he should be playing in both foursomes matches because he doesn't even know how to miss the center of the fairway, let alone miss the fairway.
Just let him come out there with that big sliding right foot action he's got with the driver and hit like a 5-yard buttery one right down the middle every time.
His golf swing reminds me of Mike's.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The footwork.
We might have to get Mike on the back foot slide. might have to get
Yeah.
might have to swing that back foot around a little bit. See if we can generate some speed. Get the ball up in the air a little bit. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I can see that with like that, like where they get at that top position.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how a guy like go back on the Europe side a little bit. So the Captain's picks were like Shane Lowry, Ian Poulter, and it wasn't Lee Westwood.
Sergio.
Who's the third?
Sergio.
Sergio.
Of course, I thought he might have qualified on points because he won earlier last year. But like, I just like to your point about the golf course, like it's such like Ian Poulter does not hit it very far. Like, and he doesn't really hit it that straight either. He's just, I mean, Ryder Cups are obviously different, but like it's like how long is he going to be able to be this like magician and just be able to flip a switch? It's been like 10 years now.
Yeah.
He officially at the point where the ball striking has kind of fallen so much to his peers that he can't make every 30-footer he sees and inside to like be able to get there. Like
I don't think
it'll be interesting.
The fire that he has. But he has a Ryder Cup since Medina.
Yeah, I mean Medina, he was a killer, obviously, but to your point, it's been a little bit more mediocre. But he's always like he's been kind of pulled in as more of the energy, veteran guy, like you said. And it's like, how long do you just get to ride the 2012 Ryder? Like it's 10 years ago almost, right? Like how long do you get to ride the coattails of that historic performance? Don't get me wrong, but eventually, I think that's one where I see an opportunity to do something like the U.S. did, right? Like, let's get some fresh blood in there. You're gonna need a guy like, I mean, maybe they don't have the prospects that the U.S. had, right, with the depth on the U.S. side. Like maybe there just wasn't anybody good enough to kind of beat the door down and take it from them. But that's one that I was like, I mean, I know you're gonna pick them, but it's like I'm kind of like as a U.S. fan, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm kind of glad you picked them.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. I think
Pairings.
Yeah, I think we got to get up to, hypothetical land here and talk a little pairings, matchups we want to see both on the U.S. and what we expect to see from Team Europe. I mean, first out of the gate, the only one I want to make sure I get in is like we have to put have is a hard word, but I'm going to say it. We have to put JT and Jordan together until it doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
You can't like they were the only team that was even remotely decent. I think they were 3-1 as a team in France. So like it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like that's the only thing that worked at all. And like they embody everything you talk about in a Ryder Cup team, right? Like they get along, they're friends, they know each other's games, they've been playing together forever, they're comfortable with each other, yada yada yada. Like their games complement each other pretty well. Like it's like such an easy one. Like let's not overthink it. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Put them out there. They are like the new generation of like they're gonna be like the faces of the U.S. Ryder Cup team the next 4, right? Like it's just it has to be that way. I don't know. I just feel like if you don't do that, you're just overthinking somewhere, and it's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
That was
think
gonna
they
be,
should
like,
be
one
the
pairing I wanna
first
see.
match out for the first 4 matches.
Set the tone. Get them.
Got it.
Yeah.
What else? What do you got, Joey? What do you do with DJ this week?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the answer, you love to see him and Brooks together, but like I feel like they aren't as good of friends as they once were. You know what I mean? They're once the Bash brothers, right? But I do feel like they'd be fun to watch, but I'm trying to think who I think would be a fun team to watch.
DJ's a tough
I'm trying to
one.
think who I want to see Colin Morikawa play with.
That's another guy too. I don't really know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like he would fit. I don't know. I mean, maybe just throw him and DJ together. They both just hit predominantly cuts. It might help.
Yeah.
They think their way around the course a little similar.
What we get.
I was gonna say, put Morikawa and Scheffler together in foursomes. You got Morikawa playing from the fairway on 9 holes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take my chances there. It's probably 5 looks inside 15 feet.
Yeah.
Like, who do we put Tony Finau with?
I think you put Tony with Bryson, honestly.
Yeah.
Tony Finau seems like the most easygoing dude in the world. Like
Yep.
happy-go-lucky, never seems to be involved in any drama. Like never has a bad word to say about anybody. I think
Yeah.
him and Bryce, like I think he would be a perfect neutralizer for Bryson, just to like, and he also hits it a fucking mile too, so that helps a little bit too. Like
Right.
he's not going to be told, like obviously he's not Bryson, but he's not far off. So I think those two would just work well from like it'll bring Bryson down a little bit and not add to like the nonsense. And like Tony can handle it, I think. Like he played really well in France, honestly. He was the only captain's pick that got any points, I think, for the US team. So
I'll tell you what, I think Cantlay and English could be like a force out there together. Just talk about the most vanilla pudding guys on the team. Put
ride
them
the hot hand,
together,
Yeah.
maybe a little chocolate vanilla twist out there. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
I I don't know if they'd say a word the whole time, but I'm okay.
No, but I think
ass.
they would just feed off each other for that. Just like, hey,
Yeah.
not saying anything to me.
Yeah.
Good, I don't know.
I'd
That'd
like
be
to see
interesting.
Berger and Brooks.
That could work. They're both lunatics
Yeah.
in their own right. That
Yeah,
could work.
they've got similar
Berger-
attitudes. They've got similar kind of like fuck you
Yeah.
attitudes.
Yeah, big time fuck you attitudes out of both of them.
Yeah.
I just the one thing before we keep going through pairings that I want to make sure we get in front of this week. I really, really, really don't want to see like rehearsed fucking celebrations and dances and shit like Phil used to do at the President's. Like I can't see it this week. We're not winning. Like until we win 3 or 4 of these in a row, we can't start dancing on the greens every time we make a birdie. Like the hip thing that he did with Kisner, like I know it went crazy viral and was funny and stuff. That was only funny because we won on Thursday of the President's Cup that year. Like we can't be doing that when we're getting our ass kicked by Europe every 2 years. So until we start winning, I cannot see a rehearsed thing outside of like a handshake and a fist bump. Like keep it
I think
simple.
the only
Be
one
allowed, but like no rehearsed shit. Like
I think technically it was rehearsed, but President's Cup when Justin Thomas made, I don't remember what match it was, made a putt to win the match with Tiger. I love me some me. That was pretty awesome. And apparently
that's
he
like
had talked about
genuine,
that early
just
in the
him.
day.
Like they're not,
Yeah.
they're not doing like the
Oh,
what is
yeah.
that?
They're
Like
not making
the kid in
TikTok
play
videos out
dance
here.
with the feet on the greens, and they're like, like I'm all for like the emotion and stuff. I'm not saying don't bring that. We kind of need that. Like we got to take advantage of it on our home soil, get the crowd involved. But like no rehearsed weird gimmicky shit. I don't know. Just like handshakes. Let's fucking go. I love me some me. If you got to do it, like you better be like dragging your balls around the course that day if you're gonna drop that line. Like you can't just throw that one out willy nilly. But I'm all for it if the moment fits. But I just want to make sure that before we lose sight of the Ryder Cup this year, that just needs to be out in the world, that we cannot be having that out there.
I forget where I saw it, but JT like told a story behind that, and I think he was saying like he was on the bus and he was watching that Terrell Owens video of him saying that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I mean, I feel like we need to bring this into, the President's Cup somehow. And like when I made that putt, it just kind of came out. And yeah, I'll have to try to find that video where he was explaining it. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, some good shit. Definitely some good shit. What do they do? Get back to the pairings. What do they do with like Xander? They put because he's, it's about as all around as he gets.
Him and Cantlay played well together at the President's Cup, right?
True, that's right. I forgot Xander and Cantlay.
They were like 3-0 or something together.
Yeah, 2 assassins too.
Yeah.
If Cantlay can maintain that putter that he had to end the season in any form, because that's really the only time Xander kind of gets a little sketchy is on the greens. He'll lose the putter a little bit on the shorter ones because he hits it so well. You get Cantlay rolling the rock for him. That could be dangerous. I like that team too.
So theoretically, U.S. is up by 2 going into Sunday. Who are you sending out first?
Not a lot. It's not a lot. I don't like that. Honestly, I feel like, and obviously it's all pending, their form going into that, but you gotta go like JT. Like, I think JT right out of the gate, like he. Again, it was in France, and he did get in the President's Cup too. Like, he seems to have a good grasp of like the emotions of like being able to use them and like not getting overwhelmed by them. I feel like he could handle that moment. He beat Rory in singles in France, so I think
That.
he like that's as intimidating as it gets on the European side outside of Poulter or Sergio a few years ago. But I feel like he'd be able to own that moment and like take that and like cement himself as like, yeah, I'm gonna be the guy now in these things. Like I would love to see him do it. I'm also a huge JT guy, so
Oh yeah.
kind of I'm hoping to create that narrative. I'm talking that into existence, but I think I'd send him out.
I could
But
agree with that one. I feel like he's got that fire in him the
I'm
moment.
on
who do you go, Erik? Who do you send out?
I love the JT answer. Jordan, someone with experience.
Cutting out a little bit,
That's
honestly. Joey, who you gonna roll out?
I'm rolling with you. I like JT.
Yeah, I could see like
Yeah, I think he's the obvious answer. I mean, he's I think he's that player that's got the biggest future on that team going forward. And like I just said, he just got that fire. There's something about him. He wants it. He wants to be there. And it just, he's a perfect player for it,
Yeah, I agree. That's my wish. I mean, it all depends on the week goes. I don't hate like if all of a sudden DJ wakes up like being the grizzled vet of the team that he is.
Yeah.
I like he doesn't give a shit about the moment either. So if he shows some form throughout the week and kind of, I mean, he played well at Whistling, right? He almost won the 2011 PGA there or whatever it was with the bunker incident. Like, I think he played pretty well in 2015 too. He obviously wasn't winning, but like he's a guy that it would seem unfazed by it. So I wouldn't hate seeing him roll out there, but he's got to show some form to get that right though. I think he's got to kind of turn around. Who would you anchor then? I guess on the flip side, who if the chips fall where they fall and it's coming down to one match, who do you want it to be? For the sake of conversation, don't
Xander.
Same guys we just did. Ooh, I like Xander. Just won a gold medal.
Facts.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I want to lean towards that JT again, but I would if that's I'd probably go with my boy Spieth, honestly. I mean, who do you want rolling the rock more than that guy when he's hot?
Jordo, that would be the funnest and like most like roller coaster, like so stressful because what I love Jordan and like this year has been so much fun to watch him back competing in majors and the whole deal. But if I got to watch him in a Sunday singles against, I don't know, Rory or, Tommy Fleetwood or whoever it is on the Euro side that's kind of running with it this year, like if I got to watch him go to the bag every 2 seconds to clean his right hand, get in the shot, I'm going to talk myself into a million things before he even addresses the ball. And then like the standing over it, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, and be like, oh my God, dude, like I don't know if I can handle that for an 18 hole. Everything rides on this match, but
Yeah.
I'd love to see it though. Jordan's obviously the best. Like, when he's playing well, golf's just better. So I wouldn't hate seeing that by any means.
Exactly.
All right. What do we got? I think unless we got any other matchups we haven't hit, I think we hit everybody, right? We got Morikawa, DJ Brooks, Bryson, Harris, Scotty, Xander, Berger. Yeah, we got all the big guys. Finau, Cantlay. I think what is your like if you had to pick one guy on the Euro roster, because they have one every year, right? Like who's going to be the Euro rookie or like maybe not even a rookie, but a kind of a captain's pick, not the top guys, like, the Thomas Peters of 2016 that I literally thought was going to win every major he ever played after that weekend. And now he's terrible.
Is this John Rahm's first Ryder Cup?
No, he played in France. He beat Tiger in singles. Right. Or is it going to be like Tommy Fleetwood, who was a rookie last year? Obviously a well-established player, but rookie 4-0, like, or 4-1, whatever it was. Like, who's going to be that guy this year that like surprises you on the Ryder Cup?
Maybe Matty Fitz. I could see him going off.
Yeah, that's honestly the first guy that popped in my head, just of like
him or John Rahm or Victor. I forgot it. Yeah, Victor.
Ooh, That is a big. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that guy. Son of a,
that's the answer.
he's gonna be a fucking problem, isn't he? Oh my
Yeah.
For that little
God. He won the USAM what?
I was gonna
3
say,
years ago?
yeah, he won the USAM. He was on Oklahoma State. They've won every fucking national championship in the world.
Yeah, him and Matt Wolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys, I hate to say it, but we're toast. We're here first, but we are toast.
Oh,
I don't know.
boy. I think
I think
the
Robert McIntyre is going to be a car crash.
The only thing that gives me hope is like the fact that just scrolling through their roster, I see Sergio, Ian Poulter, Brant Wiesberger, and Lee Westwood. Like, I know their history speaks for itself, but like right now, recent form, and I know we say it every year and they shove it right up my ass, but like eventually they can't just keep pulling this shit out and just becoming magicians Ryder Cup week. Like,
I agree. I just don't think it's
Lee Westwood, after his hot start, like don't get me wrong, was unbelievable to start the year this year, and like Bay Hill players, all that stuff, right? That Florida swing, he was killing it. Like since then, like Richard Bland has a better strokes gain overall than he does from that point on. Like he's just not playing very good. And like Ian Poulter could say the same shit. Like, I don't know. I know they shove it every single year, but like, or every Ryder Cup, but like eventually they got to have one where they're like just kind of like, I'm not saying they're going to suck. I just think that it's going to be a lot harder for them to play well than it is for some of our guys that fit the place a little bit better and things of that nature. Don't get me wrong. Like to your point, Joey, that top half, like Rory Rahm, Victor Hovland, like Tommy Fleetwood, Paul Casey, Terrell Hatton, like they're going to be a problem. We got certainly have some issues there, but having those 4 guys I just named, like they got to play. And it's like, if we can just take care of the matches against those guys and just maybe have and like get the wins there. And, you know, maybe we have a Rory and whoever he's playing with, they face JT and Jordan, and then we can win that point still and kind of negate their top guys. Like, I know you can obviously talk through that through every match and every Ryder Cup, but like, just feel like this is the year that they just don't flip a switch and become like world beaters out of fucking nowhere. Like it's got to come to earth eventually, like law of averages, right? Like,
I hope you're right.
I don't know, but
here's a quick question. Would you think it's interesting, and the teams, how different would they really be, but like if all 12 were actual like picks rather than the top, what is it, 8 that make it or whatever
6.
like that?
6 and then 9 on Euro for whatever you do it differently.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you get what I'm saying though. Like if it was all 12 just captains picks, I don't know. I kind of like that in a way. I think it just makes it a little more interesting.
I think the Euro one changes just because they only had 3. But I think if you give them 6, I think because Wiesberger got in on points, right? So like I don't think they pick him if he doesn't qualify.
Exactly.
Same with Bob McIntyre.
Yeah. Like there's a few that it's like I don't know if they like, you know, like, and on the US side though, like those top 6 that qualify, like they weren't not going to be on this team, you know, like Morikawa, Brooks, Bryson, DJ, maybe Cantlay, and who am I missing? Someone? Finau, maybe? I don't know.
DJ.
Oh, DJ. Okay, so like you know those guys, they're gonna be on the team. We're not gonna pick DJ or Morikawa.
No, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like obviously, a lot of those guys would probably still be picked, but I don't know. Like there's some guys who might necessarily.
Yeah, I feel like in other years that's probably probably has a little more debate on the U.S. side, but this year it was about as clear cut as it gets. I mean, we obviously debated the captains pick themselves, but I don't think adding 2 more picks changes that answer other than picking the 1 and 2 guys that were right on the edge, you know, like, or making it all captains picks. I don't think changes that answer. Like, who do you
think is player number 13 for the U.S.?
Oh, the one in the envelope or whatever.
Yep. Webb.
Gotta be.
I think.
Right?
I think if you got to bring in someone last minute, it's got to be someone who's been there before.
Yeah. And like Reed's not healthy. Webb trended a lot better the end of the year than Reed did. Like if all of a sudden Brooks goes out there I don't know, today's Monday. If he goes out there Tuesday and smacks his wrist against little firm dirt and it kind of backfires or aggravates again, Webb's the first guy on the plane. He's got to be. Like you said, he's played in 4 of them. I know he doesn't have like the best record in the world, but if you're gonna
Right.
throw people through a loop, you got to throw a guy that's at least familiar. I think it's the only chance.
So apparently the Europeans' 13th player is going to be like in the media center for
Just waiting.
next. Yeah. So everyone will
Please
know
do
who it
that.
is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who is the guy? Because like I think it, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this rule changed, but if you remember back to the '91 at Kiowa, if somebody's hurt and can't go, you each get a half a point for singles. You have to figure it out for your other matches, but the other team has to sit a guy, and you have to declare that before the week starts.
I think so. Yeah.
Right, like I think that's still a thing. So like basically, if a person's out for injury, they can't just like sit, right? Like if they're not unable to play, like physically or whatever it is, then for singles matches, you basically concede a half a point to like go to each way, and you sit a guy. Who on the U.S. do you sit out of the 12?
Fuck.
And again, you have to make that call like today, right? Like, or I guess they have till Friday morning or Thursday night, whenever that like envelopes do. But who's the name in the envelope that like, God forbid, an injury happens on the Euro side or whatever? I don't think it's happened since '91 because there's like a car accident going home from dinner or something that night before, where a guy like jacked his back up. Where I don't know, but it hasn't happened since then. But like there was a name in the envelope, somebody had to sit. So like, who is your guy?
Harris English.
Yeah.
Wow, I like that. I was thinking, that was good, boys. I was thinking English too, just because I feel like
just look at that team. He just sticks out like a sore thumb.
yeah, I think I think he played so fucking good this year they couldn't not pick him. But I don't think he's on the next Ryder Cup team, right?
It should be Kisner.
Hot as can be, like probably had one of the better seasons on tour this year. If it wasn't for Cantlay winning like 3 times in the last 3 months of the season, I think he had a pretty good spot for Player of the Year next to John Rahm. But I feel like this is unfortunately his only Ryder Cup. Maybe he drags it out and gets a President's Cup next year too, but you can't take that away from a guy like Scotty Scheffler, because you take that away from Scotty Scheffler next year when you throw him out there, like he's gonna be like, that's a weird taste in your mouth to be like, oh, I wasn't good enough to go play singles, and now you want me to go win my singles match? Like, fuck you,
Yeah.
So that is who I'd have to agree on. Harris English. Sorry, buddy. All right, let's wrap here with some bold predictions for maybe like final score or like one team you think's gonna just, who's gonna be the 4-0 team, 3-1 team, whatever, that just like terrorizes one side or the other. Could be a Euro team you love, could be a European upset, Joey, or whatever you're thinking's going on this weekend. But what's your like bold prediction? I don't know, team overall, matchup specifically, whatever.
I think Scotty Scheffler wins his singles match 5-4.
Killer. I like it.
Yeah. I'm all in on Scotty Scheffler this week.
I love it. Joey?
I got fucking nothing for you right now.
All right. I'll filibuster for a couple minutes here until you figure something out. I think
You've kind of given us yours. You just don't think the old hags on the European team aren't going to do shit.
Both who?
I said, no, I'm saying you kind of given your take. You said the European hags aren't going to do shit. The old ones.
Yeah, I'll double, triple, whatever, quadruple down on that. I think Ian Poulter. I don't know. Oh, boy. Okay, Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, and Sergio. Those three combined for less than 4 points.
I'll take the old. No.
Like I'm saying like they're not gonna get skunked. Like I'm not being too ridiculous here, but I say, because they're gonna play. They're not picking them for captain's picks and sitting them. So I say they get less than 4 points. I could be wrong by Friday at 2:00, but that's what I'm going with. Less than 4 points combined for the three of those old hags, as Joey said.
Oh fuck.
Come on. I know you got some takes in you. Come on.
What's the final score, Joe?
Yeah, final score.
Ooh, the final score. What's the total got to be again?
28.
28. USA wins 28 to 0. I'm just kidding.
For those watching the YouTube, Joey is absolutely distraught with this question right now.
Okay, I'm not good on the spot. You know this.
We both answered already. We gave you some time to think
Yeah,
about it.
I know. What are some previous year finals? I'm
It was
thinking
like 17 and a half,
just
10
think-
and a half in
I-
France.
What was it in France?
17 and a half to 10 and a half, I think. Or
Yeah,
17,
I
11.
think it's going to be something like that again, honestly, with Team Europe winning.
You think Europe's going to kick the shit out of them?
I think we're going to get our shit kicked into us. I have a bad feeling. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really, really do.
I mean, that's a pretty bold take. I think all tides are going in the other direction, so I'll let you.
Yeah.
That'll be yours. I'll let you ride with that.
It's all right. It's not that I want that to happen.
I'm gonna clip this and I'm gonna let the people get at you on
No.
Instagram.
It's not cool.
All right, boys. Anything else going into this week's Ryder Cup? I know we've talked course, players, matchups, history, a lot of fun stuff. Anything else that we missed?
I don't think so.
I'm just trying to think.
Is there a
of,
travel ban still from Europe? Like, are there going to be a bunch of European fans? Or
That's
is
a
there
good
going to be
question.
0 European fans?
I don't know. I don't think there's a ban because I mean we went to
I know, like-
Ireland and came back. I mean it's obviously
Yeah.
different, whatever. But like
Right.
I don't think there's a
Did
ban.
I ask you that?
Huh?
Like, certain
was over
countries in Europe are blowing up with COVID again. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, over there it was strict. I mean, you had to. I mean, not to turn this into a COVID podcast, but like we had to, like they checked vaccine cards like at the door to pubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just, like it was much more serious on that side. So,
Yeah. That makes sense.
and even then, still had to wear masks and things like that too. But
Yeah.
so I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know what it's going to be like for. I mean, I feel like there's plenty of European teams or European fans that are in our territory already. So
Right.
I think either way will be pretty good.
True that.
Because they were at the Solheim Cup actually. Like
Oh,
just a
you're
month
right.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't really show up till Sunday, but I mean that's a little bit different scale. Of
Well,
an
maybe they
event,
don't know how
but
to get to Wisconsin, and then we'll be good.
Could be a thing. Could be a thing.
All
All right, boys. Always a pleasure. Fun talking Ryder Cup. We'll have plenty more content this week, folks. Make sure you check us out: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Bogey.proof everywhere. Find us. Follow along this week. It's gonna be a fun Ryder Cup weekend. Looking forward to it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Go Bears.